Ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce you to the three guests for the round table. Lana Pylaeva is one of the organizers of Foundation FreeRussiaNL, who is also one of the organizers of this evening. Lana holds a PhD in physics and is a researcher at Utrecht University. Being of Komi background, and Komi is a region, a non-Russian region in the north of Russia, do I say that correctly? Yes. So being from a Komi background, Lana is interested in issues relating to the decolonization of post-war Russia and questions of identity and culture. Obviously, we also hope to hear from Lana in this roundtable about the activities of FreeRussiaNL, which you can tell us more about. Pavel Kanygin. I will organize our discussion of the next 45 minutes into three blocks that addresses three related sets of questions, and between the blocks there will be video compositions. In the first block I will be raising the question of how did we end up here where we are, where we stand? Where did things go wrong in Russia? The second set of questions touches on issues of culture and identity. Who am I is the overarching question for today's event. For all three of you, as Russian citizens in exile opposed to the war, this is a question you've been confronting over the last year. The third and final block poses the question, where do we go from here? Or what can and should we do now and in the future? And I'll start with the first block. Now, how did we end up here? Well, for me, as a historian, this is a very natural thing to ask always. When did things go wrong? What was the turning point? When exactly did it happen? Was it, and there are several options here, was it 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed and Gorbachev's democratization of the perestroika period ended? Was the turning point 1993? When President Yeltsin, first president of the Russian Federation, decided his conflict with the parliament by sending tanks in and shelling the parliament? Was it 1999, when Putin came to power? Or was it 2011, 2012, when the mass demonstrations against Putin and his falsification of the election results failed, unfortunately, to achieve anything? Many options. There are probably also other historic turning points which you could identify. And the question which of them was the crucial turning point is a very valid question to ask. And a question which is often asked. It is also, though, a very large question to which it is very difficult to give a conclusive and one answer. And therefore, for this round table, I wanted to reforge them, these questions, into a more personal question, which I want to address to all three of you. And that's the following question. What was for you the personal turning point? When you realized things were going wrong, or when you realized that you, or decided for yourself that you wanted or needed to do something against it? Lana, may I ask that question to you first? Yes.
So I think it was, for me, just 2011.
Speak a little bit up, I think.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it was 2011, 10, when it was clear that the system is going somewhere else, and like maybe because I'm younger, it still seemed to me that there is some hope. And I completely lost hope, even not in 2014, but after poisoning of Novaya, because it was, for me at least, some sort of hope that, yes, the system can change in a non-violent way. But then when he was poisoned with a chemical weapon, it became clear that nothing can be changed, that this is the end, basically. From here, only only terror will perceive. And
can you remind us when was that? When was the poisoning of Navalny? Was that 2019?
2020.
2020.
2020.
Okay. Yeah.
He was on a flight in Novosibirsk or Omsk, somewhere there, and then after this point, when they used chemical weapon against one of the prominent Russian opposition leaders, he was always off limits. This is what my feeling was, that he's off limits for the system, that the system is not ready to cross this boundary, not ready to show themselves like this to the world. There was, at least for me, it was like there is something holding it back. But using chemical weapon against Navalny, that was like, that's it. This is the end of the system, it's corrupt, it's just a black hole.
Were you still living in Russia at the time, or were you already in the Netherlands?
I was already in Germany.
Okay. And were you a supporter of Navalny, or was it more the fact that, well, he was being attacked in this way, which made you feel?
It was the fact that he was attacked in this way. I was always supporting his anti-corruption ideas and the way he was investigating this just astounding sums of values of corruption in Russia and throughout the system, from every tiny little person who had access, then they were stealing millions. But there was also a little bit controversial parts of Navalny when he was still attending Russian marches, and for me this was a no-go. But of course the idea of having opposition, having somebody who was so free to speak the truth, was all like it was appealing to me, of course.
He was silenced, yes, I see. And you said, well, you realized that things were not going in the wrong direction. Did that mean for you also a call for action? Did you say, well, I have to do something? And what did you decide that you could do or should do?
Actually, yes, we started to organize protests here in the Netherlands, organized FreeRussiaNL in January 2021, when Navalny returned to Russia and was immediately put to jail, already in the airport. And this, I think, was also for many people here in the Netherlands a point when all of a sudden we did not know each other. We just applied to host a meeting, a demonstration in Amsterdam and in The Hague. And thanks to the municipality, to the Gemeente, they connected all of us because they said they all applied for the same demonstration around the same topic. And yeah, but I think that at this point for me it was clear that Russia is beyond repair, so that we have to focus on building a community here in the Netherlands or abroad where we are. And from this community already speak up, support the community, and also maybe try to influence local politicians in European countries, because, yeah, as I said, Russia for me at this point was beyond repair. It was a terrorist regime. They were using chemical weapons against citizens, not only Russian citizens, but also citizens of Europe. And
so that also implies then that the things that you thought, well, what you set yourself the aim to do was to achieve something here in the Netherlands, rather than try and achieve something in Russia, or both.
Actually,
and did you think, if I can, and did you think that by doing something here you might be able to change something in Russia?
Yes, definitely. We were thinking like this, but also I think we can learn a lot from Dutch people on the way you know what democracy is and how it works. And maybe you remember this MH17 and this Bonanza papers and that whole this story. And for me it was also heartbreaking to see how this criminal grey money flooded Europe, and they were supporting all these false narratives, fake news and propaganda, and I know that you Europeans are not so familiar with this, and I saw how many people fall for this, and how many politicians also were supporting these crazy ideas. Of course, money, like pockets stuffed with these dirty dollars, with blood and whatever, and it was okay. It was okay for almost everybody, and I felt like it cannot be. We were writing a petition to Dutch government saying, you have to do something, because it is also corrupting your system here. This money, this dirty money, millions, billions, you name them, some for a certain person they will pay, and this has to be stopped, because this was just too corrupt, and it can corrupt any system.
So in fact, what you wanted to do was to both influence, in fact, society here, and through that also to influence Russia.
Yeah. To influence Russia, because I don't have trust in Russian government, in Russian authorities, so I thought the only way was to communicate with people, and also communicate with authorities here in Europe, so to put personalized sanctions against the Putin cronies, all supporters of war and regime, that they cannot use their assets, because of course they were getting a lot of money there from taxpayers' money, so Russian people money, and storing them here in a safe environment where they're well protected by working legislative system.
Ironically, of course, you succeed. Well, not you. Well, a lot of these things were in fact sanctioned, but only after the start of the war.
Unfortunately, not yet. But people working on it.
Thank you.